Hey guys, welcome to another video here on my channel. And today I'm bringing content in a slightly different way. I always like to bring content in a different way. As you saw in the title, yes, we're going to talk about this bill that could put an end to the taxes, right? What's that, huh? It's kind of like that, but just so you understand, I'm going to watch a video here. I'm going to react to a video from Josue Aragao's channel, who's a guy I respect a lot. Every topic about economics, politics, all the latest news, I like to follow on his channel because he's very sensible with the information he shares, very transparent and really knowledgeable. So I learn a lot from Josue's channel. I'll always leave the link in the description here for the channels I react to. So later, let me know what you think about this kind of content, me reacting to a certain piece of news and sharing my opinion and feedback here, okay? So it's really important that you guys comment, because I've never done anything like this before. Samsi, I'm going to react to Josue's video here. It's an amazing video. By the way, subscribe to his channel, go to that video, give it a like, because this guy really knows his stuff. I've even had the pleasure of meeting him in person, and he's really good at what he does. Let's watch it here. Goodbye Taxation is the title of his video. A bill decrees the end of taxation for international purchases up to $600. But there's a little something here. Let's react to the video. I've already got the video here, okay? Let's watch it.
My friends, in today's content, we're going to talk about the bill from a federal congresswoman that could simply blow up the taxation on international purchases, the taxation on those little shirts from Fernanda Dade and Company, which we used to buy really cheap, but now they're not so cheap anymore on international sites like Shopee, Shine, AliExpress, and Temu. The federal congresswoman is simply proposing to end any kind of tax on purchases below $600. Do you think this bill will move forward, my friend? Well, the bill is actually very well put together, and it even puts the Postal Service at the center of the whole operation to make the Postal Service profitable again and also benefit all Brazilians who want to buy a product at a fair price, a cheaper product, because today, with the tax...
Jose has worked with e-commerce for a long time, and he's also been working with the internet for a long time. He has a lot of knowledge. That's why he shares this information about everything that's happening, especially about this taxation issue.
About international purchases, that's impossible because the tax burden is 50% on purchases below $50 and 100% on purchases above $100. And the project wants to eliminate any kind of taxation on purchases below $600. But there are some points to pay attention to. The project isn't 100% perfect, but at least it's already an extremely important step in the fight against this absurd taxation by Fernando Haddad and his associates on international purchases. It's impressive, isn't it? Because...
So, just mentioning it here for you, everything these guys do, especially this current government, and my channel isn't going to turn into a political channel or anything like that, but it's impressive how much technical knowledge about management they lack. It's impressive. Guys, look, I'm not trying to give myself a title here, but I'm a guy who's had my business registered since 2016. I have a team, people working with me, I have processes within my business, within my company, so I know at least the basics about management. And so the decisions we make within my business together with my team are completely strategic decisions, always considering the worst case scenario, the average scenario, and the excellent scenario. It seems like they don't think, man. It's impressive, man. It's the incapacity that these people have.
At least it gives us a little hope. And it shows that there's someone over there in the House of Representatives thinking about reducing the amount of taxes. Whether this moves forward, whether it will pass, is another story. But actually, I'm going to ask for your help here throughout this content, because you can help us make this project gain more visibility inside the House of Representatives. So stay with me until the end of our content, so you can understand how all of this directly impacts our table, the way we consume products through the internet. But before we dive deep into our content, I'm going to do what I always do. I'm going to ask you for your like right here at the beginning, which is extremely important. You who already know our work, are already subscribed to our channel, have already left a like even before the content started, actually. Now, if you just landed here on our channel and don't know our work, hold on and follow the content until the end. If you realize that at any point this content added some value to you, then it totally makes sense for you to leave your like. Take the opportunity to subscribe to our channel as well and activate the notification bell. Check out the article that was published here on the G1 News portal and also on all the news portals on April 4th, 2025, which means this week. Deputy presents a bill to increase the limit of the Blusinhas tax, that is, the remittance according to the taxation of international purchases, to $600 in purchases per year. In other words, the way it works today, there is no exemption. If you buy an international product up to $50, you pay a 50% tax on that order. Or if you buy a product over $50, you pay a 100% tax. So if the product costs 350 reais, you will also pay 350 reais in taxes. That means your order will total 700 reais. So what is it?
It's tough. It's tough. You even have to pause the video at a moment like this. It's complicated. For those who do dropshipping, always keep it below $50. That's always our recommendation. Let's go.
She is proposing a tax exemption on purchases up to $600, but it's not per purchase, it's not per order. It's an exemption per year, annual. Why? Because if you go to buy a product abroad, you take a plane, go abroad, use duty-free shopping, and bring $1,000 in your airplane luggage, you don't pay any tax. You are exempt, which means $12,000 per year of exemption for those who have money, for those who are rich, for those who travel and shop abroad. Now, poor people don't have any kind of exemption the way things are, and the project by Dani Cunha, which I'll bring more information about later on, aims precisely to give at least a $600 exemption per year. The rich have a $12,000 exemption. Now, the poorest today have no exemption at all, and with this project, they will have an exemption of at least $600. The proposal still only applies to the Postal Service, limiting purchases transported by the state-owned company. Currently, purchases starting at $50 are taxed. In reality, any amount is taxed below $50 as well. The proposal is awaiting a decision. We will bring you the information about this proposal here in our content today. Federal Representative Dani Cunha from Union of Rio de Janeiro presented a bill this week to exempt from import tax the so-called Blusinhas tax, any online purchase sent by mail up to $600, which is about 3,482 reais at the current dollar rate. Besides that,
look, to be honest, I know that a lot of people might come here in the comments section and think, well, Douglas Souza, I think it's really hard for this kind of thing to happen. But anything that has people pushing for it, especially in this political sphere, to help the Brazilian population, and I'm not even talking specifically about dropshipping, but if this really happens, having this limit per cadastro de pessoas físicas of up to $600 per year, it's absurd. It could really help the dropshipping market itself. It will definitely help people who already buy directly, but it will really help the dropshipping market because of the profit margin. It helps a lot, really. Let's go.
the proposed change in the current legislation would be restricted to purchases made by individuals, meaning those with a national register of legal entities, that is, legal entities, would not have this benefit and their purchases would be taxed as usual. The idea is to create a purchase limit per individual per year and not charge the tax on every online purchase, which is very fair. I know a lot of people will be discussing like Josue, but there will be a limit of $600 per year, which means we'll be able to buy about 3,400, 3,500 reais per year in international purchases without paying tax. Man, that's already something. The way things are now, if you buy 3,400 reais worth of international products, you'll pay 3,400 reais in taxes. In other words, your purchase will go up to almost 7,000 reais. The current legislative proposal creates a quota of 600 United States dollars per year, which is equivalent to $50 per month per individual. In other words, you'll be able to buy at least here 250 reais per month without paying any kind of tax, which is already something.
Very positive. In other words, exactly what we need. I've always recommended over all these years to work with products under $50. You can set a good price even when competing with other e-commerce stores and other marketplaces and still have a profit margin. The problem with the taxation is that it squeezed our profit margin.
The text has not yet been forwarded by the President of the Chamber of Deputies, Hugo Moura from the Republican Party from Paraíba, and that's why it is not yet being processed by the Chamber's committees. It depends on us here to make some noise to see if these deputies can at least put this proposal on the table so they can debate and discuss it. Among the justifications pointed out, Dani Cunha states that the creation of the Blusinhas tax created a social imbalance by ending up harming the poor more than the rich, since the rules for those who travel abroad allow for a higher import exemption than for those who buy online.
No, and here's the thing, the guys literally promised that it would encourage Brazilian commerce. Oh my God. Look, they took a little bit of the tax off Brazilian commerce, just a little bit of the tax they charge on Brazilian commerce, and then they went and taxed the large portion of the public that buys online. My God.
I said, if you travel by plane or by ship, you get a tax exemption of $1,000, which gives you the equivalent of $12,000 a year in tax exemption. In other words, the richest people get to enjoy this benefit. Why don't the poorest have any kind of benefit? By the way, right here in the middle of our content, I'd like to know your opinion. Do you think this measure is positive for imports? Leave your comments here because I want to know your opinion to add substance to our conversation. Well, this is a bill. Project of Law 1440-2025, a bill that's in the Chamber of Deputies authored by Dani Cunha. This is Dani Cunha, see? Federal Deputy for União from Rio de Janeiro, and she's in her first term. And she's bringing an interesting proposal that's still waiting for the decision of the President of the Chamber of Deputies. If we get massive support from the population here, the President of the Chamber of Deputies will definitely bring this project to the table to discuss it with other deputies and also with the public. And I'll show you in a moment how you can vote on this project so we can get the attention of the President of the Chamber of Deputies. But here you have all the information about the project that arrived there on April 2nd, 2025 at the Board of Directors table. Here is the whole project, see? I'll even leave all the links here in the description of our content so you can have all the information about this project, which is a very simple project. Basically, I've already explained to you how it works, which is the exemption from import tax under the simplified taxation regime provided for in the first article of this decree law for postal shipments of gifts or goods purchased through e-commerce companies intended for individuals. This exemption has a limit of up to $600 per individual, regardless of the number of shipments. Could it be more? It could, obviously. It could be $1,200, for example, like it used to be when the tax exemption was up to $100 and you didn't pay any tax at all. In the United States, this exemption was, until before this tariff policy by Donald Trump, an exemption of $800. Every developed country has a range of import tax exemption for international purchases. Only Brazil, which is the king of taxation, doesn't have any exemption at all. Any international purchase is taxed, and this bill aims to partially solve this problem, but it helps a lot. So here is all the information about this bill, and the link will be in the description of this content. And for you to vote, I'm going to vote here on this bill's page. You will click up here. What do you think about that? You will click on respond, and up here pay attention to the bill, which is bill number 1440-2025. And here you will say what your opinion is about the bill. What is your opinion about the bill? Do you totally agree? Do you mostly agree? I'm undecided. I mostly disagree. I totally disagree. I'm going to put here. Look, I totally agree. I'm going to click on vote. If you don't have your registration on GovBR, create your registration here. It's really quick. I'm going to log in here with my GovBR, confirm your vote as totally agree. I'm going to click here to confirm. And this here is the partial result of the poll. At this moment, we have here, look, totally agree has 94% of the votes. There are 2,691 votes for totally agree, 6%, 165 people. Mostly agree, undecided, 0, mostly disagree, 0, and totally disagree. There are 3 votes here. It's not 0 either, 0%, but there are 3 people who disagree, who really like paying taxes. So let's do this. I'm going to count on your help. Let's get to 10,000 votes for totally agree. And Zay, how do I vote? I showed you the step-by-step here, and the link will be in the description of our content. You'll land on this page here, and by clicking the answer button, you'll say what your vote is. Let's get to more than 10,000 votes. And I know a lot of people will come here and say, Josue, this thing doesn't solve anything. This thing is just going to be shelved in the House of Representatives. Man, we know that nothing is easy in Brazil, especially when we're swimming against the tide, when we're trying to bring some benefit to the people, to the Brazilian population. Now, if it was some measure to increase taxation, this wouldn't even need to be discussed because they do this very easily. They approve it in the dead of night, overnight. They invent taxes and we don't even know about it. There's not even any discussion. This is our chance, a real chance, at least to put pressure to show our position. To the Chamber of Deputies, to the President of the Chamber of Deputies. Who knows? Maybe this could become a law, and it can definitely benefit millions and millions of Brazilians. So before you come here, man, and throw a bunch of stones, hold on, man, we're working for the good of the Brazilian people.
Exactly. I think the same way as Josue. Anything that is done to help people, and I'm not just talking about my own interests, obviously also for my own interests. And it would also work very well. It would help the market a lot. But I'm also mentioning this issue of making noise. And to be honest with you, and you know this, when you make this kind of noise, it creates a movement. It creates a repercussion. And it could be that this gets accomplished. You know about the case, about the controversies with PIX. You know very well that it took the population and everyone, including the people from the physical therapy group, you know, to be able to run after it, to chase after it, and nothing came up. The issue of taxing PIX, monitoring PIX, didn't move forward. This video has over 180,000 views. Let's do this movement? Yes, I'll leave the link in the description as well. From Josue's video and also the link to the bill project, let's make a movement. Let's get together so we can really make some noise. Because these are the only weapons we have. It's about creating content. It's about raising awareness. It's simply coming here, producing this kind of content, bringing clear and objective information like Josue did. So I wanted to bring this content in a reaction format, a different style here, without much editing, straight to the point. And then please, everyone, go to Josue's channel, subscribe to his channel, give the video a like, leave a comment. Let's help Josue's video reach more and more people, okay? But you can also comment here about what you thought of this case, okay? It's very important that you also comment about this, okay? I'll also leave a link in the description to a WhatsApp group we created to talk exactly specifically about the dropshipping strategy, which is setting up an e-commerce, working with these products that come from abroad so you can benefit even if this bill goes forward, because then you'll really benefit. You'll get way ahead. There will be a link here in the description with this information, okay? So that's it. Big hug and bye-bye.